Hi, welcome to Mat100 Applied Math, and we're going to talk about two sections, 5.1 and 5.2. 5.1 we're not going to do much. Let's take a look here real quick at page 279, if you have your book. And on page 279, there's some problems here. And the first one says, we're going to look at just the D section. And this says convert 1/78 of the following fractions, 1 7/8. We want to convert that inches to a decimal number rounded to 2 decimal places. So we're just going to simply keep the 1. We're going to take, whenever we want to convert a fraction to a decimal, we're going to divide the top by the bottom. Just like it says, 7 divided by 8. So 7 divided by 8 is, let's turn this on, 7 divided by 8 is 0.875. But they want us to round this to 2 decimal places. So what we do is we go out to 3, but we want it to go to 2. So let's look at the 7. And the number right after it, if it's 5 or bigger, is going to round it up. So this is going to get bigger. It's going to be 1.88. So rounding is an important skill. Let's try another one. Let's try this. This was the A problem. Let's try the D problem here. 1/16 equals. So we can take 1, divide by 16, 0.0625. 0.0625. 2 decimal places, 6 is the number we're looking for, but after 6 is a 2, relatively small number, so we're just going to keep it 0.06. That's all there is to that section. On the next section, it's kind of interesting. They have something like 0.921. This is number 2A. They have this number 921, and they want you to convert this to 16ths, a fraction, but not only just a fraction, because normally if we convert to a fraction, we just put all these over zeros and then the 1 for the decimal point. But that's not what they want. They wanted this converted to 16ths. So here's the trick. It's kind of, I've never really seen it except for this book. We're going to multiply it by 16ths because we want to convert to 16ths. 921 times 16 is 14.736. Now what we're going to do is round that off to a whole number. Again, we look at the 4, right after it is a 7. 7's pretty big, so we're going to round this up to 15. And then we're going to put that over 16. 15/16. That's all there is to it. If there was a number with a, say there was a 3 in front of here, we would just project down to 3 and call it 3 15/16. Okay, let's take another one out of that section. Here's 3.69 inches. This is the D problem again, 2D. So what we would do is we would take the 0.69 times 16. And we would get 11.04. We see the 0 is pretty small, huh? So this is going to round to 11. We're going to put the 3 in front, and we're going to put it over 16. 3 and 11/16. 3.69, 3 and 11/16. I'm not writing the 3 here because I don't want you to multiply by 3.69. I want you to just use the decimal portion. to multiply. That gives you 11.04. We're going to round it off to 11. Put it over 16, 3 and 11 sixteenths. Try number 3A. Next section, 1.90 inches. They want us to round this to 30 seconds. 30 seconds. So again, we're going to take the 0.90 times 32 because we want 30 seconds. 0.90 times 32 is 28.8. 8's pretty big. So we're going to round this up to 29. Put it over 32. And then bring our whole number over here. 1 and 29, 30 seconds. Want to try another one? We'll try the D. Ooh, 0.666 inches. Okay, going to multiply that by 32. To 21.312. We're only concerned with the 3, following the 1, pretty small. So we're going to keep it 21. And we were rounding it to 30 seconds. So it would be 21, 30 seconds. So it's kind of a nifty little trick. So you want to try those problems, converting over, changing that fraction to a decimal. We just divide the top by the bottom, numerator divided by denominator. Numerator divided by denominator. Okay, let's look at 5.2. 5.2 deals with conversions. So let's switch over to there. Let's take a look at page 281. And on 281, there's a list of the different conversions you see in your book. So we want to change 4 yards to feet. Now, when I went to school, they told me that a little trick, if you're going from a big unit like yards to feet, we're going to multiply big to small. Multiply. I put a times sign. And small to big, divide. Well, this is good to an extent, but sometimes you don't know if you're going from a big to a small. In this case, it's pretty obvious. Yards is a bigger measurement. And we know that 4 yards is what? 1 yard is 3 feet. So we're going to multiply by 3. Our conversion number is 3. And you can look up here, 1 yard is 3 feet. So we're going to take 4 yards and multiply it by 3, and we get 12 feet. See, it's just that simple. But another way we can do that is what we call dimensional analysis. Dim-an, dimensional analysis. Okay, the way we do it is we say 4 yards. Then we put the conversion factor. We're going to multiply by the conversion factor. And what do we know? 1 yard is 3 feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the yards diagonal to the yards on the bottom. 1 yard, 3 feet. 3 feet and 1 yard. That way, the yards, we look diagonally, the yards, cancel out the yards, and what's left? 3 feet. And not only that, it tells us that it's going to be 12 and a unit, 12 feet. So sometimes, using the big to small multiply is good, but sometimes it's kind of hard. We're going to do some problems that are a little tougher, and this probably would be a lot more useful. So let's try another one here, see if we can do it. Let's see, we got one here that we can mess around with it. We got those. Let's say we want to change 44 ounces to pounds. And an abbreviation for pounds is like that, LB, you can put down. Abbreviation for ounces, OZ. So we're going to change 44 ounces to pounds. And we know that there's 16 ounces in a pound. 16 ounces equals 1 pound. Okay, so it looks like ounces is a lot smaller than pounds, so we're going small to big. So we're going to divide. So we're going to take 44 and divide it by 16. 44 divided by 16 equals 2.75. And you could leave it as a decimal. That's fine. I know you could use a calculator. You know, the book says 2 3/4. But let's do it by dimensional analysis too. 44 ounces. You want to write the quantity, abbreviate it. And we want to change this to pounds. What do we want to do? We want to, we're converting over to pounds. Forgot what we were doing. So 44 ounces, we know there's 16 ounces equals 1 pound. So we'll put the 16 ounces on the bottom and 1 pound on the top. And we're going to multiply. Well, here are the ounces. Use this pen. Cancel out the ounces. And you can see 44 times 1 divided by 16. 44, you have to multiply by 1, but if you want to, divide it by 16, being 2.75 pounds. So by using dimensional analysis, we can sometimes do a little bit more difficult problem. I'm going to do this one right here. Got another sheet here. I want to change 2.1 miles to yards. Okay. Well, I know there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile, but I don't know how many yards there are. So what I'm going to do is this, 2.1 miles. And I know there's 5,280 feet equal 1 mile. Excuse me. Sorry. So what I'm going to do is cancel out the miles with miles. That'll tell me how many feet I have. Now I want to change feet to yards. Now I know that 3 feet equal 1 yard. So I'll put the 3 feet diagonal, 1 yard on the top. I don't want to put yards on the bottom and feet on the top. I want the feet to cancel out feet. So if I want to find out, I'm going to multiply 2.1. Put it over here. Go this out. 2.1 times 5,280 times, not times, let's go back, and divide, because it's on the bottom, divide by 3. And that gives me 3,696. Okay. So this way we can kind of convert 2.1 miles, according to the book, if we look at this chart, is 1,760 yards, but I didn't know that. 1,760 yards is 1 mile. If we take 2.1 times 1,760, let's see what we are going to do. We're going from big miles to small, so we're multiplying 2.1, provided we had that number to multiply by. So you see, we get the same answer. 3,696. So this, I like to use this kind of analysis here. Plus, if you're going to go into a field like engineering or anything like that, Usually you have to do it that way, if you're going to go into any kind of technical field. So let's see if we can do some more of those. I've got some written down. And let's see. Okay, here's one. Let's change 11 yards to rods. Weird. 11 yards equal blank rods. So I look at my conversion here, and they got something about a rod being 16 and a half feet, but it doesn't say anything about yards. So what I'm going to have to do is change yards to feet and feet to yards, to rods. So 11 yards, and it says right here, it says one rod is 16 and a half feet. So how's that going to help us? I don't know. Well, what do I know about feet? 3 feet equal 1 yard. So here the yards cancel out, and I got 33 feet if I want to multiply that out. Now I want to change that to rods. Well, I have a conversion. It says one rod is 16.5, or use feet. See, now the feet will cancel, and I should end up with rods. So it'd be 11 times 3 divided by 16.5. Kind of messy there. Let me cross that off. 16.5. Wish I got 165 or something. 11 times 3 divided by, and could have done this all in one step, 16.5, 2 rods. 11 yards is 2 rods. But we didn't know that. And you can kind of take a look in your book, and they do it. But by doing it this way, you can see things are going to cancel out rather nicely. And you can do some nice conversions. Okay? Let's see if we can find some more here that we want to try to do that might be a little tricky. So take a look at page 284. They have some solutions here. But let's try some. Actually, it's on 283. Let's change 12 gallons to pints. 12 gallons is how many pints? Pints. I have no clue. So I look at my chart here. What do I know about gallons? I know a gallon is 4 quarts. I know it's 128 ounces. What about pints? What do I know about pints? 16 ounces in a pint. So let's convert gallons to ounces, and then we can change ounces to pints. So how are we going to do that? 128 ounces, 1 gallon. Where would that go? On the top or the bottom? Times. We'll put the gallon on the top, and 128 fluid ounces, or ounces on the top. Put down your OZ. See, now your gallons is going to cancel out, and we've changed this problem to ounces. Now we can change it to pints. We know that 16 ounces is 1 pint. So if we put the 16 ounces on the bottom and the 1 pint on the top, you see, now we've converted pints to ounces. And again, we want these diagonal. Ounces cancel out ounces. If you don't have them diagonal, the problem won't work. So how are we going to find the answer? Our significant numbers are 12, 128 on the top, and 16 on the bottom. So what does that mean? That means, clear, 12 times 128 divided by 16. That's what it means. 96 pints. And now we've converted it over. And let's see if we're correct. We can take a look at page I lost my page here. 284, 96 pints. See, by doing this method, because sometimes we don't have a direct conversion, we know gallons is big and pints is small, we got to multiply, but we also have to do some division here too. So it's much easier to do it this way. I mean, you can do it other ways, but I would think this one would be the easiest. Let's try another one. This one looks a little confusing. 9 pounds, 7 ounces to ounces. 9 pounds, 7 ounces, 2 ounces. Well, let's not worry about the 7 ounces. Let's worry about the 9 pounds. We want to change 9 pounds to ounces. 9 pounds. 1 pound is 16 ounces, isn't it? So that would convert that over. 1 pound, 16 ounces. Let's put the OZ. Pounds cancel out pounds. Ounces, pounds cancel out pounds. So 9 times 16, 144 ounces. So 9 pounds is 144 ounces, but we still have the 7 ounces. So we're going to add that. 151, huh? So 151 ounces. See? So you got to use your imagination a little bit. Nothing is as straightforward as it was. So here I'm going to do another tricky one. A car goes 7.5 miles per hour. Wait, excuse me, 75 miles. Sounds pretty slow, huh? Per hour. Sometimes they write that way, mph, miles per hour. So how are we going to convert that? We want to convert that to feet per second. How fast is this car going? Feet per second. So let's write it this way. 75 miles per hour. That means 1 hour. Well, let's convert, excuse me, miles to feet. Okay, 1 mile is how many feet? We used this before, 5,280 feet. So the miles would cancel out miles, and that would give us how many feet per hour, but we want feet per second. So how many seconds are there in an hour? Well, we can do a whole bunch of conversions, but I'm going to help you out a little bit. 1 hour is 3,600 seconds, believe it or not. So 1 hour. But see, if I do it this way, hour isn't going to cancel out seconds, is it? So that doesn't sound right. So we're going to put 75 miles, 1 hour, 5,280 feet, 1 mile. These canceled off. Now I need to put the hour on the top. 1 hour, 3,600 seconds on the bottom. Hours. So what does that give me? 75 times 5,280 feet. Cancel, seconds. Divide by. So significant numbers. I'll circle the significant numbers. 75, 5,280, and on the bottom, 3,600. So let's multiply those out. 75 times, that's why you need a calculator or a gigantic brain, divided by 3,600. I suppose there are people that could do this in their head. I'm not one. So that's 110. Did I do it right? I'm going to check it. That doesn't seem real high, but could be. 110 feet per second. Let's double check it. 75 times 5280 divided by 3,600. 110. So that means in 1 second, if you're going 75 miles, you're going to go 110 feet. It usually takes you three seconds to stop a vehicle from the initial sighting of the person to getting it down. So by the time you see this person and you jam on your brakes because you don't want to hit it, you're going to travel 330 feet. How much is 330 feet? It's about a football, about the length of a football field, maybe 3 yards per feet, about 300 yards. Maybe not quite that. But anyhow, you're going to go a pretty good distance before you're going to come to a stop if your reaction time is very quick. If it's slower, then it's going to be lights out. Okay, curtains out. So on page 287, they have some with square miles. We're not so concerned with those and cubic yards and all that good stuff. Finally, on page 293, you're going to see a conversion table that you really need. Okay, this conversion table. And I'll see if I can maybe put it into your unit, transfer it over, because you probably will need this conversion. But, so I'm just going to randomly pick a problem out of here in 293, and they want to change something that's a little hard. Let's see. Let's see. Let's change. I think this one's kind of hard. 18.4 pints, number 9, to gallons. So that one to me seems kind of hard. I know, small to big divide. But let's look over here. Do they have the conversion? One gallon is 4 quarts, and 1 quart is 2 pints. So we're going to have to convert over to quarts and then quarts to gallons. So 18.4 pints times what? Well, what does it say here? 1 quart is 2 pints. So 1 quart is 2 pints. I want the pints on the bottom. This is kind of a pint-sized problem. Cancel that out. Okay. Now I got to change the gallons, and it says 1 gallon is 4 quarts. 4 quarts, 1 gallon. There we go. And this should give us our gallons. Let's see if it does. Quarts, cancel out quarts. It has to be on the top and the bottom to cancel. So let's see what we got. We got 18.4. 2 times 4 is 8. 18.4 divided by 8. 18.4 divided by 8. Whammo, 2.3 gallons. So I hope this helps. This is conversion is a difficult thing to do. Next time we're going to be talking about the metric system. But we want to kind of see how to do these things. So I hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you next time.